In the USA, the state of Maine and another one have, through their Supreme Court, declared that President Donald Trump will not appear on their ballot when the presidential elections are held in 2024. Being a non-USA, especially a Kenyan, you may not understand. But I have recorded before about different constitutions, including the Constitution of the USA. So as you watch this, I would also request you to watch the several different constitutions that are recorded, especially the USA Constitution. But I want to tell you in summary how this thing will be. You know, when elections are held and somebody is installed, we always say that that person has won the elections. But at times, that person has not won the election. It is the other person who has lost the elections. I want to remind you of what Pastor Ezekiel said. Pastor Ezekiel of Mavueni. Mavueni, huko ni karibu na Ribe kwa kina Fundi Konde. Huko ni karibu Mavueni. Huko ni karibu Zitsoni. Huko ni karibu Jaribuni. I've traveled. So, Pastor Ezekiel told Raila that usidhani Ruto alichaguliwa. Ni wewe ndio ulikataliwa. So, not me, but according to Pastor Ezekiel, Ruto did not win the election. It is Raila who lost the election. People rejected Raila, not that they liked Ruto. So that is giving a local example. Going to the American system, President Biden could easily become a one-term president. Why am I saying so? If you look at the American history, presidents who have been Republicans rarely served one term. But if you look at presidents who are Democrats, or can I put it the other way around? If you look at those presidents who served one term only, almost all are Democrats. And the way that Biden is behaving, it is quite easy for him to serve one term. But the question is, who in the Republicans can remove him? You see, Donald Trump has hijacked the Republican Party. If fair elections are held, it is almost impossible for Donald Trump to lose the Republican nomination. And if Donald Trump wins the Republican nomination, definitely he's going to floor Joe Biden. But then, the American Supreme Court is just straightforward. One, each state has a number of delegates. The delegates are equal to, each state has 2 senators and several MPs. The MPs vary depending on which state it is. For example, the 2 states with the highest representatives, the MPs, are Texas and huko kwa kina Ronald Reagan, California. If for any magic those 2 states just select one person, he becomes the president automatically. But for a long time, these 2 states don't vote one way. So you'll find that a state like New York has the least delegates. The delegates are equal to the number 2 plus the number of MPs or representatives. The thing that is going to stop him is that these states, as many democratic states will now take their cases to their Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court. Nitakuja kwa hiyo baadaye. They will take the cases to the state Supreme Court, and if each and every Democrat state removes him from the ballot, it shows that he will not have enough delegates. I have told you that each state has the number of delegates depending on its population. In America, anybody studying law will study 2 types of constitutions. There is the American Federal Constitution, which has its own judicial officers up to the Supreme Court. And each state has its own constitution. For example, you are going to study law from Kenya. You are going to study law in the state of California. And I am going to study law in the state of Texas. I will be taught the USA Supreme, the Federal Constitution, and I'll be taught the Texas Constitution. And you will be taught the Federal Constitution and the California Constitution. So, when the Constitution, the Constitution of a state is just similar to the Federal, but it only applies to laws and the constitutions within that place. So when a state like Maine decides that he will not, when you are a candidate for the presidency, you go to each and every state. There is a person called Secretary of State. In that state, we have the Federal Secretary of State, who is the Minister for Foreign Affairs. But then, the Chief Secretary for each and every state is called Secretary of State. That is what we call the state, or in Kenya we can call him county returning officer. But in the USA, that is the state returning officer. He will decide whether your name will appear in that state's delegation. So if there is a state and it has 10 delegates and your name does not appear, then it gives the other party automatic 10. So what the Democrats will now do, they will raise as many states as possible to declare that they will not accept Donald Trump on their paper. This should happen before the Republican Party nominates its person, because when they see, the more the Democratic Party states bar him from contesting, then somebody else will come in. And when somebody else comes in, it is a bit hard. But although in some cases, you may find that, like the case of Kathy Kilonzo was blocked from contesting and Mutula Jr. contested to be a senator for Makueni. You may find that even a last surprise candidate can beat the other people. But generally, I do not see Donald Trump entering that. And they have decided, because in a fair fight this time round, I don't think Biden can beat Donald Trump. So the best way to do is to have as many states as possible declaring that he will not appear on the ballot paper in that state. And the Constitution goes like this. If you are going to contest the presidency, you have to apply to each and every state. If you decide that you will not apply in one state, then that one state will not have your name on the ballot paper. Now you know. Thank you.